A lot of city slickers and suburbanites took the pandemic as an opportunity to get out of town and move out to the exurbs. That's that area not quite out in the country, but definitely outside the city and suburbia and all of its homogenized conveniences. When you got there, they didn't tell you how you were going to handle your garbage, which may have to go from where you live to where they pick it up way down there. But I'm going to tell you. Now, when you moved out to the country or the exurbs, you knew you were going to have some changes, likely on septic instead of sewer, possibly on propane instead of piped-in utility natural gas, maybe looking to the sky with a satellite dish to pick up some TV or some internet or both. What you may not have thought about is the garbage can thing. Maybe your house is up here and they pick up the garbage way down there. Okay, you say, I'll just walk the cans down. It's only once a week, and then walk them back up. Say hi to the neighbors while I'm doing that. Get some fresh air, a little exercise. It's actually kind of cool for about 2 weeks. Then you're fed up and it's just a drag and you want a better solution. Now, sure, I bet you can improv something with bungee cords or ropes or having your arm out the window as you drag a can alongside your vehicle. Luckily, there's an interesting cottage industry making adapters like these that turn whatever you already drive into a very nice can hauler. Now, key to most, if not all, the garbage handling devices is to attach them to a trailer hitch. Now, normally you'll see a vehicle driving around with one of these chrome trailer balls. What that attaches to is the hitch. This is a frame bolted underneath the car, and this is the key part. This square bracket hole, it's called the receiver. And most of these garbage devices go in here like this does, and that allows them to get firmly mounted. It's not unlike bike racks that sit in here. Now you may say, I don't want to put a trailer hitch on my car. If you move to the exurbs and don't have one, they're going to look at you funny and think you're a communist. So go ahead and get one. These are not hard to install if you're at all handy around the garage, or head down to U-Haul. Those boys can stick one on anything in about an hour. Two options I'm going to show you today include the Garbage Commander here and the Cansporter over here. There's no lack of creative names in this business. Maybe they can advise the smartphone industry. Anyway, you're going to find that while they both do the same thing in the big picture, they differ greatly in how they do it, starting with the first thing you'll notice when you get them and build them up, and that is the weight. The Garbage Commander is easily picked up with one hand, even in this dual can configuration. I've got the large model, if you will. Over here, the Cansporter is so heavy, I've got a clamp holding it down. When I undo that, I can tell you, this thing requires some heft. It's a big boy made of some heavy gauge steel, and you're going to find out why in a minute. But first, let's meet the Garbage Commander. Now, with your hitch in place, you just slide this guy in there like you would any other trailer hitch accessory. Goes in there, you'd line up the hole, you'd put in your pin to secure it. I'm not going to do it right now for our video, but that's how that goes. And now you start to see how this works. You've got these two basically hands on either side, spaced out appropriately to pull the kind of cans I've got, which are pretty large ones. Okay, now I take my can and I just drop it into what is basically this mechanical hand back here. Slide it in there on the same handle you would use to pull the can yourself, and then to make sure it doesn't pop out because it's at an angle and may want to right itself. The system comes with these pins. These are called PTO pins. They're pretty common, ranch and farm stuff. But you put that through there, latch it in, and now I've got a can that is secured. This is the fussy part. There we go. Now that's not going to come out. To balance this, I'm going to put another can over there. I think that's almost essential, or this thing's going to try and get all wandery and weird. Okay, now my two cans are on. They're balanced, and this thing's ready to go. It swivels here at this point so you can make turns, but note, because of the way this is laid out, you can't back up when these cans are hooked up. It'll get all snarled up pretty badly. Now, I've got two cans on my dual model of the Garbage Commander can hauler, but I can add more cans, which is interesting about this design. Using this thing, it's called a can coupler. Now what this does is hook onto one of your cans, and this can stay here, by the way. Again, another PTO pin goes in here, and I would leave this on there, and then each week you can take another can and add it to this can as it goes on the vehicle. So a little bit of a juggle here, but not too difficult. And then I'm going to pin that also. And now I've created kind of a daisy chain of garbage cans. I can't believe I'm even saying that. And you can go quite a bit with these. I could add another one over here as well and do a couple over here. And pretty soon you're pulling a lot of cans with this guy. Again, one direction only. Just going forward, I think you can now see why you don't back up when you've got this set up. That's different from the next apparatus we're going to see. Now, as I mentioned, the Cansporter is this big beefy apparatus, and you're about to find out why. It attaches to the vehicle the same way. Then you prep it by doing this, and you drop this sort of cradle down to receive your garbage can. Here's where it's different. The garbage can isn't held by the handle, it's held by this sort of grab bar that the garbage industry uses in their handling equipment, and then you just fulcrum the can up. And there it is. Now the can and its weight are being held off the ground by the Cansporter bracket. That's why it's got to be such a heavier construction. And as I mentioned, I've got a dual model in this video. I could put another can next to it, and that of course would balance things out, although you don't have to do that. You can move one can at a time on the dual. In my mind, there's really a checklist of 5 quick things to think about before you buy a garbage can handler. First of all, how many cans do you have to move? Look at how each handler handles the number that you need to move each week, not just its general capacity. You just want to know how it works for you. Second thing is going to be the ergonomics of using it and setting it up. How do the cans get attached and detached? Some are simpler than others in terms of your appetite for fussing with little fiddly keepers and attachments. Third is the weight of the thing. A lot of folks are going to want to take this thing on and off every week, and some of these can be a lot heavier than others. The next thing is maneuverability. Are you okay with an apparatus that requires you go straight only, or do you want the ability to be able to back and fill and back up while you've got cans on board? And the fifth, of course, is price. There's a wide range here. Some of these can cost twice as much as others, as you've seen with just the 2 that we've looked at today. One thing you won't have to think about is which of these are ideal for moving garbage cans up and down a public highway. All the ones that I'm talking about, these type of accessory attachments, they're just for use on your own private road. Both these products I've showed you today are real good, and they sure beat the ropes and bungee cords I see a lot of people using. A lot of the choice comes down to your particular can volume needs and what kind of ergonomic fussing you prefer to do. Welcome to the Exurbs. Now you just got to figure out what kind of plants deer don't eat.